Good morning, chickadoes and chickadees. Today is Monday, November 16th, and this is the updated information for your syntactical portfolio for the Great Gatsby. So, in today's assignment or the lesson video, your focus is chapter 3 if you haven't done it already. I'm giving you the chapters in this way just to kind of keep you paced, just to kind of spread it out so that you are focusing on small chunks at a time rather than a big chunk at one time trying to get it done at the last minute. That's what we're trying to avoid. But hopefully, you're updated on everything, you're keeping pace. And if not, just kind of letting you say, hey, this is where I'm going, this is what I need to do. All right, so we are in the middle of writing your TED Talk speech, right? And we're doing using the Great Gatsby as an example of just good writing, seeing these beautiful sentences so that we can learn how to imitate them in our own writing, so that we create our own writer's craft, our voice, that our essay, that our speech, our writing is a breath of fresh air, that we sound unique, we sound educated, we sound sophisticated in our piece. So, as you're building your TED Talk piece, think about how you can incorporate these sentence structures in your writing, in your transcript. As you work with the Great Gatsby, we're looking at the 10 types of sentences. And if you look back to the assignment, which I posted it, we're focusing on um, different styles of writing. And it's not so much that I want you to get it right, it's just what do you think it is? How do you think the sentence is that you're pulling out? Is it a tridactic? Is it periodic? Is it a rhetorical question? And just kind of this understanding the beauty of these different types of sentences and how they're being used in which way. So I want you to develop that conversation with me. So the expectation is that this is the portfolio. If we take a look back, let me see, back at week 3, this is when I went ahead and assigned the project saying this is our focus. We're starting to read. Here are the instructions. Let me see if I can find it um, in our Schoology folder. So I assigned it back officially on November 5th, where I'm giving you the instructions. And then the next day was a reading day for you to read chapter 1 of The Great Gatsby. And you're focusing on different styles of sentences, looking at, okay, is this a sentence that has oxymoron on it? Does it have imagery? Is it showing some sort of conflict? Just kind of see how that sentence is being used. And then identifying what type of sentence it is. And I gave you the web link to go ahead and help you understand what a cumulative sentence is, or inverted, or parallel, or tridactic, or anaphora. And again, you can definitely use other websites. This was just a starter for you. If we look back at the week 3, Thursday, November 5th, it's all there, the 10 sentence structures. Okay, but again, you're welcome to use any other resource as a way to identify the 10 sentence structures. So, as you are going through chapter 1, you're finding 3 sentences that you really like. These are beautifully crafted sentences, like, oh, this has conflict, or this is a simile, or it's a metaphor, or it's dialogue. Again, whatever trope or fiction element that it's actually doing. Then once you have your 3 sentences, then I want you to have that conversation with me, like, why is it beautiful? What is really cool about this sentence? Is it because it has a dramatic pause? Is it because some items are flipped? Again, what makes it a beautiful sentence? Then here I want you to tell me what you think it is. Do you think it's a tridactic? Do you think it's a anaphora? Do you think it's an inverted, parallel, periodic? And then talk to me about why. Why do you think? So this number 2, the sentence structures, is just a quick identification that all you need is the name of this type of sentence. And then in the next box, you're going to tell me why you think it's a tridactic sentence, or what it makes it a parallel sentence, or a periodic or inverted sentence. And then once you have that done, taking that sentence that you had originally, imitate it, just like we've done with some of our warm-ups, where whatever you want to talk about family, about friends, about love, about school, whatever the topic is, but follow the same flow of that sentence. imitate the same structure, punctuation of that sentence. Just change the topic, whatever you want to talk about. Just show me, hey, mom, I can do it too. So that's been the focus. For every chapter, you pull out 3 sentences, and then of the 3 sentences, whichever one you feel most comfortable with, write about it. Talk to me about it. Show me the beauty behind it, and then show me that you're taking your attempt at trying it out too, taking it out for a test spin. So the original instructions was that for you to read all 9 chapters, that's a non-negotiable. That's what I still want you to do. You're reading 9 chapters, and each chapter you're pulling out 3 sentences. So you read chapter 1, you found 3 sentences. Read chapter 2, found 3 beautiful sentences. Read chapter 3, found 3 more beautiful sentences. And you kept doing that until you got to chapter 9, and you would find again 3 more sentences. Then once you found those 3 sentences, then I'm like, okay, for each chapter now, once you just wrote down the 3 sentences, like you see here, just write them down. Then pick one sentence to really have that conversation about. Okay, so you'll have one developed analysis, this part right here. For chapter 1, you'll have one developed analysis for chapter 2, a developed analysis for chapter 3, and so on and so forth till chapter 9. Okay, that has been the expectation. That's what the instructions say to do for all 9 chapters. 1 sentence, 9 chapters, that's analyzed. You're picking 3 sentences down per chapter. Okay, so that's what this little, for me, graphic is for, to say you're reading all 9 chapters. For each chapter, you're pulling out 3 beautiful sentences, 3 really cool sentences that you came across. And then for those 3 individual sentences, you pick one and you write about it. You fill out that analysis portion. So, in thinking about it and just kind of making sure that we close the year off strong, because this will be your last major grade for the year, December 4th, and then we move on to our semester exams and then go on for winter break and come back in January for semester 2. We're just trying to think, is this enough? Is this too much? Is what is going to be sufficient enough for you to show me that you can do this, that this skill? Do I necessarily need all 9 chapters to be done? And then just thinking the sense of our situation, thinking about, virtual learning. Most of y'all are at home. Some of y'all have a lot going on. Some of y'all had a hard time getting into the flow of things and are barely getting on. And I don't want you to lose hope, but I still want you to do this because this skill is important. This ability to see beautiful sentences, talk about beautiful sentences, and imitate beautiful sentences is vital to your growth as a writer. So after some hard thinking, actually it was pretty easy, I am changing the expectations. I still want you to read all 9 chapters. It's a good book. Okay, it's a good book. These are the chapters I want you to read. We're still reading all 9 chapters. But for the conversation, for the documentation, for the imitation, I want you to focus on 5 of those chapters. Okay, 5 chapters, but here are my stipulations. I don't want you just to do chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then be done. Like pull your 3 sentences for 1, 3 sentences for 2, for 3, for 4, for 5, and then of those 3 sentences, do your 1 analysis for each and be done. That doesn't serve the purpose for me, because what about 6, 7, 8, 9? It gets good with Daisy and the Mistress and Buchanan and Gatsby. I mean, it gets good, especially in chapters 8 and 9. So here's my stipulation. I'm cutting it down to 5. You're still reading all 9 chapters. Let's make that very clear. You're still reading all 9 chapters. You're focusing on 5 of those chapters. But of the chapters that you pull sentences from and do the analysis for, one of them has to come from the first third of the book. Okay, so chapter 1, 2, or 3, pick one of those to focus in on. That is a must. The second third of the book, something needs to come from there, from chapters 4, 5, or 6. Something has to come from there. And then something needs to come from chapters 7, 8, and 9, from the last third of the book. Okay, so 7, 8, or 9, pick one of those chapters to do your 3 sentences for and your 1 analysis for. Okay. And then the other 2, since 1, 2, 3 are taken care of, the other 2 chapters that you're responsible for, is up to you. You get to choose where else you're pulling it from, which chapter that you feel most comfortable pulling your 3 sentences from, and pulling that one sentence to actually have that analysis planned out for. So, for example, let's say I'm this kiddo and I have this stipulation. Maybe I'm going to cover chapters 1 and 3 and 5 and 8 and 9. I at least have one, or sorry, at least I have one in that first third. I have another one in the second third of the book, and then I have one in the third third of the book. And then the other two, wherever else I felt most comfortable. So that I have my 3 sentences from chapter 1. I'm going to pick one of those to do the analysis for on this page. I'm going to focus on chapter 3. I'm going to get my 3 sentences, and I'm going to do my one analysis for chapter 3. Then I'm going to do the same for chapter 5. I'm going to pull my 3 sentences, do my one analysis, and then do the same for chapters 8 and 9. Because again, I at least have one in the first third of the book. I have at least one in the second third of the book. And then I at least have one in the third third of the book. And the other two is wherever else they land. But at least in total, I have 5 chapters that I pulled from and I did my analysis for. I read all 9. That's the expectation. That's the honor code right there. I've read all 9, but I'm doing my sentences from the first third, the second third, and the third third of the book, and the other 2 come from wherever else, as long as that stipulation is covered. Okay? If you're still getting confused, come talk to me. And again, it doesn't have to be in this order. You can just do chapter 2, just do chapter 6 and 7, 8, and 9. Again, any combination or permutation works for me, as long as one's from the first third, one is from the second third, the third is from the third, and then the other 2 come from wherever else. All right. So you're still reading the book, you're still pulling sentences, you're still doing the analysis, but rather doing it for all 9 chapters, because for me at this point in our situation, it's a little overwhelming. Show me you can do it for 5 of those chapters. We're still adhering to the expectations. We're still adhering to what I want you to pull and garner from this activity or from this assignment. You are still documenting the chapters, the sentences, the tropes, fiction, focusing on what type of sentence structure it is, writing about it, and then your sentence imitation. But again, you're only doing it for 5 of those chapters. Okay? Jump on the Zoom call if you have questions. Send me an email if nothing else. Or if not, I'll be on tutoring tomorrow night if you need anything from 6 to 10. All right? I love you. Have a good one. Make good choices. Bye, guys.